Hi y'all, welcome back to Date Card Pod. I'm Jenna and I'm flying solo today. I'm post shower, I'm in a house dress. If you're watching the YouTube, you can see my little vintage little house dress. I'm just, relaxed as all can be. And yeah, I'm flying solo mostly because I was gonna do like a no context episode with my friend Blue. We've done this before. They used to watch the franchise, but then they stopped, and honestly, good for them. They are the true hero. And but they've been on the pod back in the day, and they did kind of like a no context episode where they would just watch a random episode with me and then we would talk about it. And so we were planning on doing that, but then I had a really bad pain day yesterday. Frankly, like just really trying to get through the next couple months. I have a couple different specialist appointments and potential for surgery. Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on with my body right now, and sometimes when I have like a really bad pain day, it is all I can do just to fucking get through it. And I wasn't even gonna watch the episode last night, frankly. Like I was gonna watch it eventually, but I was so out of it. I took a nap like as soon as I got home from work. And then I was like so out of it. I was like, I don't even know if I can watch the show. And then my girlfriend lovingly set up my projector that I've been meaning to set up in my room. And we projected it on the wall, and I got to just like kick back and watch it, which was really sweet. And I'm really glad I did. We loved the episode. It was actually a pretty great hometowns episode. Um, and I'm glad I watched it, but I just kind of threw the whole thing off because then my friend and I were gonna record after the show aired because our schedules don't align today, and it just didn't work out. So I was like, just gonna do a solo episode. And honestly, I did toy with the idea of being like, maybe I'm not even gonna do an episode because do I have a ton to say about the hometowns per se? No, but I did. I was glad I watched it, and I do have a couple things I want to say about it. But I was like, well, maybe I'll just like talk about it next week, with the Women Tell All. But I just like the Virgo, fucking hardworking, traumatized millennial in me, said no. I'm gonna give an episode. I'm gonna give you guys an episode because I love you, and I feel bad if I don't give an episode. So I'm here. And first things first, I actually just want to talk about something that I saw this morning, early this morning, when I was on my morning TikTok break or whatever. I was actually just before I even went to work. I was drinking coffee, having my little tiny breakfast so I could take my medications. And I was on TikTok and I got fed into my FYP a, you're never gonna believe this, a Roses and Rose Lauren Zima video of her interviewing Raven Gates. And it's like clear, it's crisp, it's a little fuzzy, like it definitely looks like it's an uploaded clip, right? But what trips me out is immediately I look down at the handle and the handle says Roses and Rose. And and it has the ET logo. So stay tuned for a J-Anon. It has ET logo, Roses and Rose, clip that's just going, and like a little caption that's very much like as if it's like an ET page, as if it's Entertainment Tonight's social media page, and they're like, Lauren Zima sits down with Bachelor alumni Raven Gates to talk about her life post marriage or whatever, right? And it's very like that, and I'm like, what? So I go to the main page. This person has uploaded three videos in a row, and it completes the Raven Gates interview, basically, right? It's like one after another till it's finished. And that's it. And I'm looking at it now. The user handle is KALOUPXJZ87. Again, KALOUPXJZ87. nothing else, following no one, has 8 followers, and these posts have just like a couple likes, no comments. Maybe there's like one comment that was like, ha ha ha, ha or whatever. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening. What is happening? Why? Why years after Roses and Rose was ceremoniously dragged from the air because Lauren Zima decided to stay with a racist and tank her career, is this showing up in my feed? And it was uploaded that today. It was uploaded hours before I saw it. So I'm not sure what's scarier, frankly. The fact that somebody is uploading these old clips, or that I got it that soon after it was uploaded. Like, I do get Bachelor content, but surprisingly not a ton. And TBH, sometimes I'll suppress it. I'll be like, I won't watch it because I'm like, I don't want I don't know about y'all, but my TikTok algorithm is so sensitive. I feel like it's probably like that for a lot of people, but like literally, I'll watch one video on a topic all the way through and not even like it. And next thing I know, I'm getting fed video after video after video of like that content. And so yeah, anyway, but obviously it knows that I'm a Bachelor head, and so it will feed me things. But I was just like, why is it feeding me this so soon after it was posted? And who is posting this? And for what reason, right? Is it Lauren Zima? Is it Chris Harrison? Is it who? Is Billy Bush? No, not Billy Bush. He was the one that was on Extra. Whoever is in charge of ET, like, what is happening? Right? Is it Raven Gates? Because, so, I also was like, this is sus that whoever is posting this is on the other side of Bachelor Nation. You know what I mean? Like, there's a decently, well, it's not a clear divide, but there's a decent divide between like woke mob police, um, and like the conservative Bachelor Nation, right? And there is a fuzzy in between where people will kind of like play in the space, right? And I'm thinking this person, KALOUPXJZ87, um, they are on the other side of Bachelor Nation. And I'm just thinking, I'm concerned, you know, because the Raven Gates one talks about the feud between her and Rachel Lindsay, which famously on my first ever episode of my Patreon, I talk in great detail about my theories behind the Rachel Lindsay Raven Gates fallout, where in which I pretty much prove almost without a shadow of a doubt that it was because Raven was racist and did some just weird like microaggressions and slash aggressions, and one of which might be saying the N word. Um, and yeah, uh, I just find it, I'm just like, this is like suspicious that this is like the particular interview that this person uploaded for the first time, right? Okay, so then I go on to it right now before jumping on to record with you guys. Yeah, we're all recording together. This is a group recording session. And she uploaded 4 new, this person, I don't know actually who they are, but I think it's Lauren. Let's be honest, okay? Like, let's be honest. I think it's Lauren. She uploaded 4 more videos just a couple hours ago. And it's an interview with Becca Kufrin after her season of being the lead, after her and Garrett have been together. And at one point I didn't watch all the videos, but she's like, Lauren's like, oh my god, life with Garrett must be so wonderful. Oh my god. Anyways, I can't wait to see what video she posts next. I'm very curious and I don't understand what's happening. Take a sip if you don't know what's happening. Glug, glug. Of course, I see the irony, okay? Of course, I see the irony between her show and my show. I'm always drinking. I'm always taking swigs. And now I'm going to take a swig of this warm bourbon that's been sitting on my desk for a week, you know? Mm. I love it. You know what? Maybe Lauren has something though. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she actually was the comedic voice of our generation. Sound off in the comments. Anyway, so oh, see, it's playing. Sorry. There's only one bathroom on the bus, and like, like many men, I think he was confused at that point. But what a beautiful guy. That was like the Southern woman saying, bless his heart. Have you guys ever talked again? No. No, I mean just like filming wise, but that was it. Yeah, nothing else. Oh. And I don't, What would you say if you ran into him? I don't even know what I would say. Like, I'd probably high five and be like, yes. But he's the one who he walked out of the limo and he's like, let's meet. I did let him. Actually, have a great night with. So maybe for okay. Becca Kufrin, sip or spill? Who's messier? And like we have been with. No. No? Why not? No. I think we're just taking our time. Okay. I mean, he Sorry. Sorry, I just started watching it again. I can't. This is the worst podcast that's ever been created. Okay, anyway, hi. So, what a hometowns it was. I will say it was really fun. I was watching with my girlfriend. If you watch the stories, you will have seen that they were kind of like losing it because they were like, he's meeting all four of their families. He's talking to their immediate family in some cases. We'll get into it. And my girlfriend was just like, this is like upsetting. Like that's too personal. The show is taking it too far. And I'm like, babe, you don't even understand what you're getting yourself into. Next in 2 weeks we're having fantasy suites. And I had to stop and tell them what fantasy suites was and what that means. And my girlfriend by no means is like a traditional like Christian like traditional family types person, but they did grow up in a large Latina household, and so they talk about a lot like of just like some traditional things. And so they were like, oh, I think it's actually really sweet that they would ask the parents for their blessing, and this seems like it's all too intimate. And I'm just like, okay, this is funny as hell to watch. Watch you watch the show. But yeah, we had a good time. I think um it was interesting to see the different dynamics with all the families. Obviously, I was really excited to see Latia's Mormon family, and I was really excited for Zoe's hometown date, considering we didn't get a one-on-one date with her on the season. And so I was really interested to see how that played out. And were they going to have like kind of a one-on-one date, which they really did basically have. Sometimes these hometown dates, in a sense, it can be like a one-on-one date because they'll like go around and futz around the town for a day. Sometimes it's not very much, and they kind of just like hang out at a park and then they go see the family, or that's what we are shown, right? Zoe did actually get a pretty substantial, hometowns 101 date. They did this like wedding photo shoot that was really cute. Again, the cinematography of this season is blowing my mind. I don't think I've actually been talking about it nearly enough on the podcast, maybe at all. But what is happening with the editing, like the physical editing, like the editing of what we're this, like the video, right? Not the editing as like, oh, what did that person say or didn't say, but the way that they're like literally putting these transitions on, these wide angle lenses, these cameras that I feel like are higher definition and on some kind, I'm not obviously a camera person, so I don't know the like the terminology, but on some kind of like different kind of swivel situation. Like at one point when he was with Latia's family and they were meeting all of the Mormons, they the cameraman, like, Grant does the most iconic thing, which is like, oh, there's a lot of ya. So are you all just like related? And they're like, yeah, we're all cousins and aunts, and then the cameraman kind of like does a quick pan out and like goes so that you can capture the sheer mass of people that are standing in this lawn. It is pretty iconic. But the videography has been so good. And so with Zoe's little wedding photo shoot date, it was like when they were doing all the like they did like a video series on top of the roof. It was giving very much 18 America's Next Top Model. This particular episode I'm thinking about where they were on the top of a building in New York City, and I think they were doing an ad challenge for Steve Madden shoes, and I think they were throwing water on the women while it was like fucking below freezing temperatures in New York City. So I was getting triggered to that, but it was just really beautifully done. Zoe and Grant look perfect together. Honestly, what a couple. I'm on my knees barking. Yeah, and it was really nice to get that. And I thought it was honestly, there's probably like two moments, two iconic moments from the episode that really stood out to me. And one was on Zoe's date, where in which when she's talking to her sister, which okay, first of all, Zoe's family was iconic too. I loved that she made a big point to talk about the differences between Grant's um untraditional family and her kind of like untraditional family structure, and how the differences in between them, and while they do have things that are in common, they are different. And that like she's happy that Grant can have a relationship with his father currently, but she does not want to have a relationship at the moment with her adoptive parents. And I also just honestly, I think obviously it's within her right to say whatever she wants to say. I did think it was really beautiful the way she weaved talking about it without actually giving much details. That I think can lead on to what is typically these personal tragedy cards, PTC moments that are kind of like trauma porn. It's very much like, ooh, like look at the. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy it or get into it or you know what I'm saying, but at the like at the element of like trying to engage into something in a little bit more of a productive manner, Zoe, I think, threaded that needle really well. Anyway, and so she talked about having a chosen family, which was really great. It was like her aunt and her aunt's husband and her adoptive sister or real sister. I was a little fuzzy on that, but doesn't matter. And then I think another friend or another sister. But yeah, she told the sister like, "Oh my God, I never got a one-on-one date, and I think it's actually pretty shitty." And the sister was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I don't know. Maybe you should ask him." And the sister just fucking sits Grant down, asks him right away. Iconic, actually, so important to me. And Grant, I think, actually did a decent job at answering an impossible question. Like, whether it was his choice or not to have Zoe have a one on one, which I actually almost wager is not his choice. Like, I don't think the leads have a ton of say, per se, on who gets one on one dates and group dates to an extent. I think, men before him, one Colton Underwood, had tried to game the producers by being like, oh, I don't really like Cassie. I like Hannah G more in order to get more dates with Cassie. And it kind of worked or whatever. He was able to have more like privacy with Cassie, more like, oh God, I'm traumatized just talking about it. But yeah, I think Grant ultimately did a decent job of answering the question of just like uh that, and he says like both me and Zoe weren't giving this relationship very much, and by the time it kind of had come to that, There was no more time for a one-on-one date per se, but the last couple of times I talked to her, she opened up, I opened up. Now that's all I needed. Like that was all I needed to know, that I could continue to date this person because I did see something in her. But I'm a little bit like, he could have, like, in theory still given her one of the last one-on-one dates. But the thing is, at that point, I actually don't think it's in his hands. I think if he had really pushed for it earlier, he could have had a date with her. And I think that was kind of the truth in his what he was saying, is that he didn't necessarily see. He was like, there was something being held back, so he wasn't gonna necessarily not waste his time, but like put, like, he had other relationships he needed to pursue and figure out, right? If I'm being generous, and I kind of feel like I want to be. So I was actually pretty impressed with it. It was this whole slay moment from both the sister and Grant, in my opinion. And yeah, stunning, gorgeous family. Zoe's amazing. She's gorgeous. She's honestly my favorite right now. Like, fully, she's who I'm gonna give a rose to personally. She's getting my engagement from me. Zoe, if you're listening, please. I'll dump my girlfriend. Okay. Um, Hi babe. If you're listening, I didn't mean that. Okay, drinking break. Just drinking away, rosés and rosés. Hmm. 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 So, I of course skipped over Juliana's date. I don't really care about her. Obviously, I feel like she's probably gonna be in the top two. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fucking idiot. Of course. I don't really like her. She does nothing for me. She's MAGA light. Not my vibe. And I'm sorry if I'm being. I don't know if that makes me like take me girl or something. I kind of feel like it does, unfortunately. Which is embarrassing, and I really have worked hard to unpack that. But it's just not my vibe. Um, and her ugly white nails trigger me. I think she's being fake, or like, if not fake, just like not interesting. Like there's nothing of interest to this to me. And the big Italian family was just like, oh my god. Maria already did this, okay? I would have lived for a Carolina hometown date. Carolina. Sorry. God. Now my girlfriend's gonna break up with me. Carolina date. I would have I'm still saying you're wrong. I would have lived for to meet her family. Anyway, it's fucking stupid. A waste of time. I don't give a shit. Okay, now to the Mormons. The Secret Lives of Latia. We pull up to this fucking mansion in Wyoming. She's like, this is actually not my original mansion. We normally hung out at my dead grandmother's place in Salt Lake, I imagine. And but now home is wherever you make it. Must be nice. I will say Connie, shout out to Connie. Connie was texting me earlier in the day yesterday saying, I think I figured out Latia. She's obviously going for a Maddie Pruitt storyline, right? Which I do see um the what's the word? Um Comparisons. And in fact, I think they're quite there, in many ways, including the interesting, like, face plays, like her eyes. I love her, and I think she's wonderful. And I, after the hometown date, I actually was like grew more fond of Latia, but she does make some interesting facial expressions at the rose ceremonies, and in general when she's like really talking to you. It's I don't I'm not gonna make fun of her. I'm just saying it's giving a little Maddie. Okay, on top of all the other things. But Connie was like, she's trying to get herself a millionaire, like Maddie did with Trout. And but then this episode happens. I'm like, oh, Latia doesn't need it. She's the millionaire. It's her family's obviously rich as hell. No, it's fine. But anyway, I do think she is, if she is trying to just get like the most like crossover followers and crossover like attention and adoration from the fan base, I think she's doing an elevated version of Maddie Pruitt that is actually more tolerable, because in the end these Mormons seemed nice. They seemed accepting, considering the mom was very clear that Grant does not need to be a Mormon. He of course was like, party girls want the same thing, you know? They all want to live, drink, love, turn up. Party girls want the same thing. And I'm a party girl. Like, Grant's saying that about himself, right? I've come to really realize that he's talking about himself, if you really think about it. It's not about party girls, if you know what I mean. It's about Grant Ellis and who Grant is, you know, as a person. So I think that, it was important that the mom was like, it's okay. Nights like this don't come around too often. We don't, as long as you love God, then that's okay with me, and my family. And I thought that was really accepting and very nice. And obviously Grant was very relieved. He said, I thank God. He kept being like, I don't know what a Mormon is even. He said he never met one. Grant, it's not like a lesbian. Come on, you've met a Mormon, and you probably met a lesbian. Um, Hell, there might have even been one on your show, on your season, God willing. So yeah, and then we meet the grandpa, who, oh my God, I love Grandpa. Um, Unless of course I find out who he voted for, but he was like, Latia was like, so we were reminded that basically Latia's mom was married to a Polynesian man who died 3 months after Latia was born. And, but I guess she talks about with the grandpa that Gramps, I think she called him Grampy. Grampy, love that. Grampy, that the family was like very accepting, did not care, was not put off by the fact that Latia's mom was dating a man of color. And uh yeah, so that it was like they were trying to like very closely thread the needle that this Mormon family was not racist. And you know what? They did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. So props to all of those rich Mormons. They did have a soda bar, a swig bar of some sort, and they had one called Dirty Pop. I still need to talk to him. Like, what's that? What's that TikTok? I need to talk to a gay person. I need to talk to a gay person. And it's like, I need to talk to a Mormon. I need to talk to a Mormon. I need to talk to a Mormon, because like, how is any of this allowed in y'all's religion? And I'm not trying to be ignorant when I say that. I'm genuinely asking. Anyway, Dina, I forgot she even was still here. Last night, literally after the Mormon episode or the Mormon section, I was like, all right, let's get ready for this rose ceremony. And then Dina comes through and is walking down a sidewalk. I was like, oh yeah, she's still here. Oh, God bless her. So she comes out. We're in Chicago. They don't do a hooju. No one's doing hoojus. Not really sure what's happening there. I think it was Zoe. Yeah, Zoe in New York did a standstill attempt of a hooju. And I think it's only because she's as tall as she is that she was able to do that. It wasn't very good though. Disappointing. Grant is huge. Why aren't the women jumping on him physically? So Dina's date, come to find out, her parents are also really religious. Her dad's a deacon or something. Very religious. Red flag. Sorry, I'm being hateful. I don't mean it. JK, I love you guys. Jesus Christ, spelled with a K. what was I saying? Oh yeah, so her family is like, there's no way in hell you're getting me on this TV show that's about sinning. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so this deacon has a sense of faith. Latia's family, clearly looser faith. Anyway, so then basically, I guess her family, the last one was like, no, we're not good. We're not going to do this. We're not going to support the fact that this man is dating 25 women. And I have like 6,000 thoughts about that, but mostly they landed on, come on, fucking, you're not going to just do this for your daughter. Like, that's a little bit of a yikes. You can't even, frankly, just go on and be dramatic. Be a dick about it, right? Go on and be like, I don't really like this. I'll meet you because I'm a respectful person and I'm respecting your time and my daughter's time and journey, but I don't agree with this. Like that would have been very dramatic and fun and interesting and like, let's go. But instead they did that. And then when she was talking about how she had her girlfriends come and stand in, which honestly, frankly, I almost think they should always have like a friend and a family version of these things. Because I think friends should see their interactions and like let them know and everything, right? But Dina was like, my friends basically know me more than my family. And I was like, and now I need to know. Now I have questions. Now I like Dina more because I'm thinking Dina has religious trauma and she moved away from her family because her family is not accepting of just general feminism, empowerment, liberalness. I don't know, you know? And so the fact that she's just like, these women actually know me more than my family, I was like, damn, drag them. And so, you know what? Good riddance. They shouldn't have been there. But it clearly did affect Grant in his decision. I mean, to an extent. I mean, I would like to think that he actually was going to choose Zoe regardless because, like, come on. Come on. She's like the she's like to me like clearly the best choice for him. Like, am I crazy or okay? Um, but I mean, I can see a world where he was considering Dina, and the fact that he didn't meet her family and just felt awkward about it was enough for him to be like, no. But that's the thing too. Here, it's less about just like not meeting her family and being like, oh, I don't want to be. This is not traditional, and I would feel weird like because I was trying to tell my girlfriend, I was like, this, as far as like the tradition of the show, I don't agree with it that you need to like ask the parents permission or even really see the fucking dad before you do the shit, before you get engaged. But in the context of the show, that is very kind of a weird progression. You know, rarely are the leads not meeting the parental figures unless they're dead, incarcerated, like Demi's mom, or uh very ill or like just not in their life like Zoe's parents. And um rarely are they do they exist in this, you know, plane of existence and not go on the show. So I was like, how is he gonna thread that nail? How's he gonna propose to her without like it's just like I don't know, it's just I just didn't see it happening. But also I could see Grant being like, that's disrespectful as hell. And being like, I'm not gonna like obviously get along with this family, so this is not gonna work out between you and me, Dina. So sorry. You look at this photo right down behind me, it's like the two, Latia and Juliana, are wearing like brown kind of dresses, and then Zoe's wearing a green dress. It's kind of like earth. It's a little more gem toned, but kind of earthies. And then Dina's wearing all black. It's like, girl, you did not get the memo. And then Grant, can't really tell in this photo, but he's wearing a deep green suit. I was like, oh my god, him and Zoe are perfect. Him and Zoe are perfect for each other. Come on. Gorgeous venue for a rose ceremony, by the way. This is beautiful. They should have night one here. Have all the ladies sit in the chairs. It's a theater. Just have all the ladies sit in the chairs. Jesse can be in the balcony or backstage. Um, and they all have to come. So all the women have to come out through behind the curtain to come out and meet Grant on night one. And then they go down the stairs, the awkward stairs. That it was. It did seem awkward for the people to get up, for the women in Grant. Yeah, so that's about it. We did find out we're gonna have the Women Tell All next week, and then the Fantasy Suites the week after. I really wish Bachelor Nation TM would give us a schedule. Just tell us. Just tell me when the episodes are gonna happen. You know? Like, what episode is it? Women Tell All, Fantasy Suites. I've been for weeks wondering whether it was gonna be Fantasy Suites first, Women Tell All. I feel like I should know the general layout, but sometimes they switch it up, so you can't go be like, oh, they usually have Women Tell All first and then Fantasy Suites. You can't ever know. You can't ever know. In fact, we don't even know if it's a 1 or 2 night finale. We might know, and I just didn't listen. But they need to send out a press release. Datecard the podcast at gmail.com. Send me the screener while you're at it. I won't do anything with it. Anyway, Fantasy Suites look interesting. Again, Latia says, hold my beer. Maddie Pruitt, Trout. I'm gonna be uncomfortable if you haven't sex with any of the other ladies. What we don't know, is if Latia is a virgin. Oh, that's my alarm to do something in the morning. But I'm going to say, because I just posed a very inappropriate question, I'm going to say that was the authorities telling me to cut it. Cut it. Can't go anymore, Jenna. Okay. I love you guys so much. I managed to talk for like 40 minutes, I think, by myself. I had a blast. I always like, it's so funny. I'm always a little nervous when I do solo episodes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so boring. But I think that I'm so fucking funny. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I actually think that I'm pretty hilarious and I had a good time and I thought I made some good points. And I ended up having more to say than I thought I would. All off the top of my head. So with that being said, I love you guys. Next week will be a wonderful week. I'll have the guests, and then for Fantasy Suites, I am gonna have Ash Talks Tea and Epiphany on for a three-way Fantasy Suites recap. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait for that one. Anyway, love you guys. I will see you next week. Make sure you are staying hydrated and eating little snacks like I am. Okay, bye.